Okay, so today we're talking about what to do when you think that you're already at the upper price limit of what you can charge in your auto repair shop. I have discussions all the time on the phone, via email, on Facebook Messenger, and in our free Facebook group, Your Profitable Auto Repair Shop. And people tell me that I'm already one of the most expensive shops in town. I can't put my price up any further. If I had $1 for every time I've heard that. Now you might be thinking, but that's the truth, and what's wrong with that? Well, here's what's wrong with concluding that you're already too expensive or getting right up there and that you can't charge anymore. You're doing yourself out of profit. The number one rule in business is to make a profit. And I guarantee you that if you're pricing yourself around what's going on in your local area, you're not factoring in that most auto repair shops don't actually know whether or not what they're charging is making them a profit at the time they charge it. Now, how do I know that? Because of all of the conversations I have with people who are looking to come and be a client of the Workshop Whisperer. So I ask a set series of questions when I have those calls to see if those auto repair shops and their owners are a good fit for our program. And what turns up in those conversations is that they don't have a system for pricing, whether that's labor or parts. They don't regularly review their profit margins. They get markup and margin confused, and as a result, only at the end of the year when they look at the bottom line of their profit and loss statement, because they're drawn to it by their accountant, do they realize that they didn't charge enough. So if you are looking around and you're doing some price matching because you're rigging around to those other competitors to see how they price a particular service or repair, then you're not factoring in that what they're charging is probably not making them a profit. So why would you be worried about what you're charging when you know, or you should know, what you need to make a profit? Now, somebody will most often say to me, but I'm already charging more than most, when they're already booked out a few weeks in advance. Have a think about what that says to you. If you are already booked out a few weeks in advance and you're already at the upper end of what you believe to be the price for your area, then that tells you that your customers are willing to pay your price and they're willing to wait. So let that sink in for a second. Your customers are willing to pay your price and they're willing to wait. Now, there may be a waiting list because you aren't as efficient with your workflow as possible, but even still, your customers are prepared to wait. That is our first indication that our price should be going up, whether you know what your profit margin is or not. But if you realize, and maybe you've even made a comment in our free Facebook group, Your Profitable Auto Repair Shop, around your pricing and your margins, and one of the other group members or myself have said, put your price up. And the reason for that, the main reason for that, is so that you can make more money. Now, you may be in a regional area, and this is particularly prevalent in regional areas where you just think that you can't charge as much as what they can in the city. And that in itself is a fallacy. You have additional costs that you need to factor in when you're in a regional area. Things like freight and not being able to get things on the same day, which delays your jobs. Extra time spent sourcing parts because they're not readily available in town. Now, if you are comparing yourself to what other businesses in town are charging, remember what I said earlier in the video, that those businesses may be charging lower, not understanding that they're not making a profit on that job. So you need to do your own price, profit, and margins review for your business, and you need to know what you need to charge in order to make your desired profit. How do you know what your desired profit is? Well, that's where your accountant comes in, and that's where a coach also comes in. So with lots of our clients, we actually work in conjunction with the accountant sharing benchmarks, sharing what profit margins should be so that you can go back to your workshop and you can implement a pricing formula, a pricing strategy that is foolproof. That means that every single job you do helps you get at least 60 to 70% on cost every time you do it. So if what you're currently charging doesn't allow you to achieve that, I can tell you right now, at best, you are breaking even. There is not that abundance of money left over at the end of the day to help you fund the lifestyle that you want, and you are probably time poor as well. So here's what we need to do if you believe you are more expensive already than everybody else. You need to stop comparing. Number one, stay in your lane, run your own race. I've done a YouTube video about that one as well. And number two, you need to get really clear on what you need to do in order to price for profit. If you don't currently have a great relationship with your accountant, you need to renegotiate what they do for you. And if they're not willing to come to the party to help you work this stuff out, ask me for a recommendation. I have them for both Australia and New Zealand. And number three, this is what you should be working on with a coach if you really don't know where to start, or your business profits or lack thereof have been stagnant for a couple of years. If that's you and you know that it's time to reach out, then make sure you answer a few quick questions for us via the link here with the video, and then book a time to have a chat. We'll go through quickly what your issues are, where you would like to see growth, what your ultimate aim is for being in business, and we'll come up with a plan to help you get there.